What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Hold the Husband Podcast. I'm your host, Terry Duran. I got both of my co-hosts on the line with me. I got my man, Jay Baba. What's good, man?
Not much going on tonight, fellas. Looking forward to this Thanksgiving holiday. Hope everyone enjoys that holiday. But want to quickly remind you can catch us on Grind City TV. That's Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can get it on your Roku TV and Google Play. And be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube at Hold the Husband Podcast. All right, too.
I also have my other co-host. I got my man, SD. What's good, man?
Nothing, man. Just glad to be in the house and done with these crazy hours. My throat is kind of bothering me. So y'all got to bear with me. But I want to give a shout out to Brother Soul Production for always keeping the background audio fresh. And I want to remind you all to donate to the Hold the Husband Podcast on Cash App and PayPal.
I want to remind everybody that y'all can catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on the core94.com. I also want to remind y'all that we are now available on Spotify. We're releasing an audio version of the podcast now, so y'all can check us out on Spotify as well. This episode is titled Dominate the Bedroom. And so we're going to be having an interesting conversation about BDSM and domination in the bedroom. So I'm looking forward to that discussion. But y'all know how we do it around here. We like to discuss the stuff we've seen on our timelines and stuff that has been trending. So we got two interesting videos that we're going to be looking at today. This first video is a guy giving some advice on how to keep a woman happy or how to make things work in a relationship. Let's take a listen.
That's what $1 million do. It get rid of everything. Get rid of all those domestic $10 hour chores you got to do every day. Bro, if I come in the house, I don't even want to see my wife folding clothes. Why you want to see your wife folding clothes for? Bro, she raising the baby, bro. Nah, you good. We good. They had enough of that. That's what I'm saying. They not their grandmothers, bro. Grandma. What grandmothers do on Sundays? The entire Sunday. They dedicate
cleaning, dishes, everything.
And for some reason, like, we just drag that on. We do. Like, we supposed to do that. And then we got some men out here who are saying, no, I can't marry her, bro. She don't cook and clean and what.
Right.
Nobody want to do that. First of all, our grandmama ain't want to do that shit, bro. Yeah. My grandma had 12 kids.
My grandma had 9.
Yeah, you see, and they had to do all that with 9 kids. Why you want to bring that traumatic experience to your wife to do the same thing?
All right, man. This is a lot to respond to. But for the most part, this is pandering bullshit, right?
That's pretty much.
The idea that simply being able to pay for somebody to do all the chores in the household and have maids and servants around is the key to relationship success. This dude must not realize that millionaires and billionaires get divorced. That even women that live in these circumstances, in these mansions, complain about having pool keepers and nannies and all this type of shit. Yep. So to me, my bullshit meter went off as soon as I started listening to this video. What y'all think?
Man, I think it sounds good. And of course, we know that anything that sounds good will get the response of positivity from women. All the time. It don't matter what it is. If it's in a relationship and it sounds good, he's talking about a millionaire. Hey, $1 million to get you this, that. Well, guess what? Most of these women and most of these men don't have $1 million, and these women ain't meeting no man that's got $1 million. So guess what? You gonna have to cook and you gonna have to clean. It's traumatic all of a sudden.
Bruh.
Traumatic experiences. Like, come on now, y'all can't buy into this nonsense and without any critical thinking. Like, this don't make no sense. But like I said, the women will eat this up, man, and run with it and be like, see, this what I'm talking about. This why I won't settle.
Yes, girl. Yes, with the high five emojis and everything.
Yeah.
But man, this is pandering to like the umpteenth degree here, because he's talking about a lifestyle that 1% of anybody that even lives here, And I would say this: a woman needs something to do, especially in a relationship with a man. You know, she needs, like, okay, when the kids are in school, what's she gonna do? Just sit around and thumb twiddle?
Shop, go live this luxurious lifestyle. Because apparently that's the key to relationship success.
I mean, hey, look, you can go to the mall so many times and only go to so many stores. You know,
It don't matter,
but
man.
I think she needs something to do, especially something to contribute to that relationship. If she's not doing that, her mind is going to be idle. And you know what they say, an idle mind's a dangerous one, or the devil's playground. That's how I see that.
And see, this is the thing, right? So when you're talking about pandering, right, there's always like 1% of truth to it, right? So in just a bubble, if you could take away all the stuff that people had to do that they don't like to do, yes, they'll be more happy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's common sense. But the idea that, like SD mentioned, these women ain't meeting no millionaires. These women ain't meeting no men that can afford to just pay for anything we don't want to do. We just gonna hire somebody to do it. Like, what percentage of society actually lives like that? And so when you're talking about a woman that's unwilling to do things to take care of her own kids, her own household, bruh, that is not somebody that you want to try to invest with long term.
Yeah. And he's trying to make it seem like a man is wrong because he's like, man, she don't cook. Man, he don't want to marry her because she don't cook. Like, what value do you have? What value are you bringing to a man if you say, hey, I don't want to cook, I don't want to clean, I don't want to fold clothes, I don't want to do none of that? What in the world are you here for? Why are you here? If you want to do any of the traditional duties of a woman, but you want me to do my traditional duties as a man,
110%.
What do I need you here for?
Exactly.
I don't. I can get another woman. I can leave you alone and get another woman who will be happy to come in here and do her duty as a woman, because that's how she was raised. So I wouldn't be bothered with a chick like that thought like that. I just wouldn't.
SD, just to piggyback that real quick about bringing value, and I would say this, in a relationship, somebody's doing one or two things. Either they're bringing value or they're not. If they're not bringing value, they're taking value. I say there's no in between with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be doing something, man. You know what I mean? Like a woman that is, like you said, is not willing to contribute by doing labor or chores. She's not gonna pay no bills because then you her roommate. Then what's gonna separate her from the other women that a man that can afford to have a housemaid and a chef and all these different people hired? That type of man is going to be driving a Rolls Royce and can pull women everywhere he goes. So why would a man logically pick a woman that doesn't do anything or except look attractive and have sex? That's one of the easiest thing to get.
You want to know why?
Control. I would think control.
Control and just being lame. So they want to try to pay. They want to try to fund a woman to be with them. Look, I can take away all of this stuff for you just to be with me. Just don't leave me. That's all. Don't leave me. Stay with me. I'll pay for everything. And if you can, hey, more power to you, bro. But like I said, the majority of these women out here don't look.
But that don't guarantee it. See, that's the thing. None of that guarantees. It don't guarantee the woman's gonna be happy. It don't guarantee the man's gonna be happy. It doesn't guarantee that the relationship is gonna last. So all it does is give you some shit that you can go on a podcast and talk about. I would never have my woman pay a bill. I would never have a lift a finger. So you can look like the pandering champion. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. We know that women are going, like you said, they're going to buy into this message because it's shaming the men that are not millionaires as if you're the reason that she's unhappy. You're the reason that she's not satisfied. When we see that there are a lot of women that just don't have realistic expectations, they don't have the type of mentality that are conducive to long-term relationships, and they struggle to differentiate between quality, solid husband material men and guys that are just blowing smoke up their ass.
Yeah, and not to say that a woman's only value is cooking and cleaning. No, she got way more value than that, man, when she comes into a household.
Facts.
But that's part of the old school traditional duties of a woman that's in the home. Just like it's part of a man's traditional duties to provide, cut grass, keep the yard clean, dump the trash, do the whatever else needs to be done around the house,
Sure.
handy work, whatever the case. Yeah, those are traditionally man duties. So I don't want y'all to get to your panties in the bunch and be like, oh, is that a woman's only value? That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is he mentioned them in the video as if they were so traumatic, like she was going to be sitting in a corner in a straitjacket, rocking back and forth. She got No, that's not the case. I'm just saying that everybody has a more traditional duty in the home. Don't mean that y'all can't help each other out with those traditional duties, because a man should be helping cook and fold clothes and clean also.
True.
But if you don't want to do any of those things, there's going to be a problem with the majority of men out here, because most of us not millionaires. It is what it is.
Exactly.
All right, let's keep the ball rolling. Now, this next video that we're going to talk about, this is actually a video of a woman explaining how simple men, solid men are. The things that men that are actually husbands look for in a woman. Let's take a listen.
Let me tell you something. Men are not that difficult. They're quite simple creatures. They want some attention. They want some affection. They want you to initiate intimacy. They want to know that they can come to you and you will listen to them. They want to know that you're going to keep their secrets. They want to know that you're going to provide that emotional space for them to be able to vent and speak to you without you telling anybody else. And they want respect. It's really not that hard, y'all.
Yeah, you know, what she mentioned doesn't cost money, doesn't really take a lot of effort. And I think most men, especially the men that have had success with women, the absence of the problems is more valuable. I think the woman that doesn't get on your nerves, that doesn't create unnecessary problems, those are the things I think over time that make a woman stand out among a guy that's dealing with multiple women.
Yeah, you know, one thing she mentioned that's number one on my list, and probably most men's list, is going to be respect. That's a huge thing for men when they dealing with their woman. The respect of his leadership within that relationship in that household. That is major, because right now in 2022, in the modern world that we live in, a lot of women nowadays feel like they don't have to respect the man because they financially can take care of themselves. So they say certain things to a man, they challenge a man, they want to be the man, and all these here different things, and they wonder why a lot of the husband material men are shying away from them, because that respect factor ain't there. That is a major thing.
But they'll find a million other reasons to explain it. You know what I mean? Like,
he's intimidated, right?
Y'all, man.
That's the main one. He's intimidated by me. Sweetheart, let me explain something to a lot of ladies out there that's this way, that have this masculine, combative, I'm so independent, I don't need a man attitude. Men that have their lives in order, that are husband material quality men, are not intimidated by your independence
at all,
or your money or any of that. He is turned off by the attitude that typically comes with that independence. Yeah, I don't.
And it's a logical move to just avoid it.
Avoid it altogether. That way you ain't got no headaches. You know what I'm saying? But stop making excuses, because the men out here that y'all want are not intimidated by y'all. The dude working at Walmart pushing carts into the cart buggy, he's intimidated by you. But not the men that's making money.
Exactly.
It's just not that. It's not like that. But that's what they tell themselves to make themselves feel better. And their girls piggyback on it and clap them up. Yes, these dudes intimidated. Man, come on, man. Cut it out.
And the crazy part is, all those things you just named, you know, being able to pay their own bill, car note, rent, whatever, those are things that benefit them. They ain't benefiting a man. Not a man who already has all those things to have himself together.
Yeah.
Right. And like, well, let me ask y'all, have you ever been dating a chick and then you found out she made a lot of money and that made you like her more? Like, is that a thing? I know that women be jocked out once they find out a dude's getting a bag. But I've never, I mean, you having a profession or being a doctor or whatever might be cool, but I've never heard of guys just being gassed up by a woman's income.
I never have. And I know And I talked to a doctor. I talked to a doctor a couple years ago, got money. And I had to stop talking to her because, you know, she was like, hey, I don't need no man, and da, da, da. And I tried to stick it out for a little bit. But, man, when she got a flat tire on the expressway 5 minutes from my house, she sat there on the expressway for 3 hours waiting on AAA, and I'm 5 minutes away. And I was like, why you just didn't call me? Well, I got it. I can handle it. I don't need you to do that. And I was like, man,
Wow.
this is too much. Like, this is ridiculous. I could change a tire in 5 minutes. And she sat there on the expressway for 3 hours, man, because she's so independent to where she feel like she can't depend on a man or ask a man for help. Like, I don't want to be bothered with. And she is bad. When I say she a 9 easy, she's a 9 easy. And I had to leave it alone, man, because of the attitude. But you know, it's one thing that she didn't mention. She didn't mention this, ladies, and I'm going to mention it to y'all. In the words of Uncle Luke, men want head.
Oh.
Tell me I'm lying.
Only if she knows what she's doing, bro. Only if she knows what she's doing. But I think that has a lot to do with how much she enjoys it. Head is always a direct reflection of how much enthusiasm is sprinkled in the process.
Absolutely, man. That's part of the interest.
But she made so many valid points. But you know what? Women's response to what she said was, well, I can do all that and it's not going to stop a man from cheating. And my response is, well, there's no way to cheat-proof a relationship. If a guy want to cheat, you're going to cheat regardless.
But see, that's the narrative. Most people don't just cheat for the sake of cheating. Most people that cheat because they're unhappy or unsatisfied with something out of their spouse or the relationship. The exact same reasons that women cheat. You know what I mean? But whenever you talk about a man cheating, it's always a better narrative to just say she was being perfect and he cheated anyway.
Come on, man. Right. All of you the same thing, right? We all done seen it. Oh, I did everything. And he still cheated. Man, get out of here with your everything. I'm sure he had a problem. That's one side of the coin that the women never tell. They only tell their side that they did everything. And we know as men and as just being logical beings that that's not true. It can't possibly be true for every single woman out here, man. Come on, cut it out. Y'all have issues and cause problems within relationships too. But
that's how they perceive themselves. You know, a lot of times the way that, I guess that to me, I always felt like self-awareness was a key component of self-improvement. So I've always been self-aware of what I bring to a relationship, my shortcomings, etc. I don't think a lot of women do that. So their perception of their self is usually drastically different than the guys that are dating or smashing.
But you know what? You know what? You've been all the stuff she said. You've been saying on your page for years. As long as I've been following you, you've said all this stuff. Now it gets met with a lot of pushback. You know, now it wasn't as much pushback. It was just guys gonna cheat anyway. I can do all that. It doesn't matter.
But see, that just represents somebody with a messed up mentality. You know, they have the trauma from a past dating experience and whatnot, where they label all men under those categories. And until you address that, that's going to be the problem. But there are women that are starting to get it. You know, some of them, it might be a little bit too late. You're in your 40s already, you know what I'm saying? Like they wait till they're past their prime to start adjusting their mentalities. But you have dudes like that was, the last video that's simping out here, telling them what they want to hear, and they buy into it. Because what woman don't want to meet a millionaire that's going to pay for everything in her life?
Come on, man.
Right.
So, you got to have millionaire looks, too. Like, you just don't fall into a millionaire's life. But look, come on. Like really. Like,
can't be a two.
Come on, man. Like, some of these chicks should be dating the taco man at Taco Bell. You got to have the looks for a millionaire. 9 times out of 10. But, what's crazy is, I've been working on these long hours, right? And we have guys come in from different states and stuff like that. And I was talking to two men, both in their late 30s, going through divorces right now. And, both of their women cheated on them, and both of them have to pay alimony to the woman for like 12 to 15 years because they ladies never worked. And both of them had kind of a similar story. One is a Caucasian guy and the other guy's black. And they like, man, listen, I did everything. I paid all the bills. I'm out here working these long hours. I'm doing this. I'm doing that when I'm home. I bought her this house. I bought her this. And she slept with my best friend. Or she slept with this here guy over here and I found out about it. So what women don't seem to realize a lot of times out here when they making these here statements, oh, you can do all that and he can still cheat. So can you all. And it happens. Yeah. Men do
all the time
everything that these here women ask, but because they don't turn them on a certain type of way. And I will admit both of these here dudes were more on the kind of, they different kind of guys, more of a a softer kind of guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
Both of them they are that way, but they've been with their ladies 15, 18 years, whatever the case. And now she just wanted something else. You know what I'm saying? But he's got to pay for that. But he was doing all of the things that women claim to want, and it wasn't enough. It happens on both sides of the
man. In my side dude experience, bro, I remember I was messing with chicks that their husbands made way more bread than me. You know what I'm saying? 6-figure dudes. She's in a luxury car, you know what I'm saying? Got the executive position. She's sucking me up in her office. You know what I'm saying? And I would ask them, like, why are you sleeping with me? I don't buy you nothing. I don't buy the birthday gifts. I don't buy you nothing. Like, why you, you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you going out your way to smash me? But it's you're providing something that her man can't. A lot of women are with these dudes that they don't really like or not like that. They like they got love for them, but they not into them like that.
And mind you, this is you as a 20-something-year-old college student. Like college students ain't balling like that.
Oh no, it definitely was never about the bread.
Exactly.
I had an executive chick like that, man. Was riding real nice and all that. I never even knew she was married until it came to a head. And I'm like, yo, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying?
How'd you find out?
Oh, dude came to the restaurant. He showed up at the restaurant.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I was like Biggie up in there. I'm like, yo, you better talk to him. Hey, I don't know what my man on, but he was like, yo, man, I ain't got no issue with you. But he was a little guy. I mean, dude might have been 100 pounds, and he's like 5'8" or something like that. I'm like, man, I don't even need this. You know what I'm saying? But man, it was cool. I was like, hey, man, I'm gonna let y'all handle y'all business. I didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? She was keeping it from me, but a lot of these chicks be out here like this, especially nowadays, man. It's different out here. It is way different. So, it happens to us too.
All right, man. Look like we up against the clock, man. We're about to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be getting into tonight's topic, Dominate the Bedroom, our discussion on BDSM. Y'all are tuned in to the Hoe the Husband podcast. We'll be back in a moment. Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hoe the Husband podcast. Tonight we have our guest on for the night. We got my man, Sir Marvelous. What's going on, bro?
What's up, man? How you doing? Happy to be here.
We good to have you, man. Now, I want to make sure I get this right. My man is a professional BDSM dominant. Has a pretty nice following on social media. And has a very interesting profession. So before we get into it, can you let us know a little bit about you and what you do?
All right. Well, just to reiterate what you said, my name is Sir Marvelous. I'm a professional dominant. I study the art of BDSM, and I like to focus on the sensual art of BDSM. Basically, what that means is that I like to debunk some of the misconceptions that people have about BDSM. Some people assume that it has to be, abusive or painful or just crazy white people shit in most cases. When the reality is the sensual side of that has nothing to do with that. So I like to teach people different ways that they can use different things in BDSM to like build arousal during foreplay and really intensify not only the pleasure that you experience when engaging with somebody, but also the orgasms that come from it. So I'm big on showing people how what we do in BDSM can be used as foreplay.
All right, yeah, because you're right. You definitely got the branding or the perception of it. Because I always thought it was something dangerous where, you know what I'm saying? Like you can get hurt or you got to have like some crazy fetish or whatnot. Right. So my first question to you, I wanted just to, just keep it as simple as possible. What's the difference between something being kinky and being a fetish? Or is those synonyms for the same thing?
Okay, so a kink is usually something that's related to a sexual act. A fetish is something that is usually not sexual. So the idea of like somebody being attracted to somebody's boots, as crazy as that may sound on the outside looking in, that is, a very common fetish to people. That's not necessarily sexual, but it does something for that particular person that likes that fetish. Now, a kink could be something like, I like the idea of getting my ass licked. That's actually sexual. That might turn somebody on. You know what I mean? So it's kinky in the sense of that it's different, it's taboo, but it's still in that realm of sexual shit, if you get what I mean.
I get it.
Oh, okay,
I
okay.
like women with pretty feet. Like I like women with pretty feet. Like that's like, you know what I'm saying? That's my thing. It's not crazy. Like my fetish is on the low end. Like I'm not sniffing shoes or drinking wine out of but you know what I'm saying? I will suck a toe or two. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. But I guess that would be called a fetish.
So honestly, I think that the pretty feet thing, that kind of like falls right in the middle of like a kink and a fetish, because by definition, like a foot isn't necessarily sexual, but it's part of the person. So technically it's it can be considered that, if that makes sense. So I think that's the perfect like example of like both a kink and a fetish all in one. And trust me, I love me some pretty feet too. So I'm right with you, brother.
All right. Well, I thought that I was like, man, is this gonna be a dumb question? But it sounded like that you gave a real thorough answer. I appreciate that. Because that's one of the things, those words get tossed around, especially in the comments on social media all the time. Because anytime you do something that is out the norm, you're gonna get trolled and criticized for it or whatnot.
I do.
Yeah, it always amazes me, how much people have to say about rules that they didn't create for themselves. Obviously, we're going to have things that we're just not attracted to as human beings. Like, I don't need to tell you what you don't like. You know what you don't like, but you have to understand the difference between what you chose that you don't like and what society telling you that you're not allowed to do or not allowed to be. Like, even when it comes to like black men getting therapy, black men expressing their emotions, men in general expressing their emotions. It's 2022 and we're just coming to terms like, you know what? It's I can cry. It's not that I'm feeling my emotions and shit like that. You know what I mean? Because for so long we've been told that that's not what men do. You know what I mean? So it's separate from sex, but if you get the correlation, you see where I'm going with that.
Now you say you studied, BDSM. Like, how did you get into it? What made you want to study it and really get into it like that?
So, long story short, my origin Superman story, or superheroes to fuck Superman. I don't fuck with DC. But my origin story is I was actually a teenager when I was engaging with an older woman, and I was looking for a way to last longer in bed. I went on Google to try to learn some new shit. And next thing you know, I'm like down a rabbit hole of like all of this other information. And I ended up across these blogs that where women were expressing their experiences with men during sex, and how so many of them weren't experiencing orgasms when they were having sex with men. And I'm talking about a lot of these women were married women, because they would say like, yo, I've been married for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, still never experienced an orgasm with my husband.
Damn.
And the only time that I actually experienced an orgasm is when I used my vibrator. So I kept hearing that. Then, you know, in the comments, they'd be like, oh, girl, yeah, comment, vibrator. I'm like, I'm young. I don't know. I'm very unaware of what sex toys are, but this is what I heard, vibrator. So, you know, me being impulsive, I ran down to with the Village in New York City, went to one of the little sex shops, got me a little vibrator. It was, I don't even remember what kind it was. It was like a bullet combined with some other shit or whatever, but it worked. And I ended up using it during the time that I was actually penetrating my lady at the time, and she went crazy. She went crazy, and I was so entertained by her enjoyment of that experience that I didn't even think about coming. Like, coming was the last thing on my mind. I just wanted to keep pressing that button over and over and over again. So that was the origin story of how I bought my first sex toy. And then, as a, you know, me being a young man, I was like, if this one worked, let me see if I can find another one and another one and another one and another one. Okay. And fast forward, you know, many years later, well into my adult years, I have all of these different toys and things I've learned that work better for me or work better for them, rather. And then I go to an event one time, a swing event, and I see this guy. He has like a massage table and all these different toys laid out, and like a line of women just like hoping to go next on the table so that he can do all of these wonderful things to them. And I was like, yo, that's dope. I want to be doing that. I got a lot of that shit at home, but I never thought that you could make a career out of this. I never thought you could make a, you know, profession out of that. And it was definitely like an inspiration moment, a moment of inspiration for me, rather.
Man, listen, when I tell that same story to men, they think I'm like, they like, man, what's up with you? Like, why you? It's the fact that the woman is coming, and I like the woman to come with her own bullet. You know what I'm saying? I just don't, you know what I'm saying, go buy them. But I'm saying, like, the whole thing of penetrating, having the bullet on, and sucking her toes at the same time, like, it gives me a high. I've explained it like it's like a rush, you know, a rush of adrenaline. Just to see the eyes and to feel the clenching,
the
and all
sounds,
and to have her to keep doing that over and over, it's addicting to a man. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I was a hoe for a long time. It wasn't no like back then, like it wasn't no BDSM. I guess it was around, but you didn't really hear about it like that. It wasn't mainstream as it is.
So using vibrators or sex toys is in the realm of BDSM?
So yes, because BDSM is basically an umbrella term that covers so many different versions of play. So a lot of things can fall up into there. You know what I mean? I try to give people practical examples of how what we do in our everyday sex lives can fall under the umbrella of BDSM. You know, for example, right? One of the biggest things that we see in BDSM, when you watch on TV, magazine, wherever you're watching, is like people getting spankings, right? And it, you know, and on the outside looking in, somebody be like, you know, I'm not into anybody beating on me, because they assume it got to be super intenseful, because that's what they show on television. Remember, television is always going to look for the more dramatic thing to portray. Right. They're not even showing real intimacy and real, like, if you look at TV and you think that that's what sex looks like, you already know that's not how we giving it up. So imagine how wrong or inaccurate they're showing other things that have to do with different ways that people engage. But anyway, back to my example. One of the greatest things that they use a lot is like people getting spankings. But believe it or not, you're doing impact play a lot when you're engaging on a regular basis, because if you've ever been hitting it from the back and you started spanking that ass, by definition, you're doing impact play. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. If you ever choked a woman while fucking her, then by definition, you're doing asphyxiation play. You get what I'm saying? If you've ever had a woman close her eyes or blindfold a woman, you're doing sensory deprivation. All of these things are different terms that we use.
Oh, they got terms and shit for all that?
And
I didn't know.
What's so dope about it is that once you learn a term, you could dive deep into that shit and learn how to level it up. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? It's like anything in sports. It's a lot of dudes that play sports and they do moves that that are played in the way that it's played in regulation, but they didn't know that. That's just what they do. But now that they're on a team, they got a coach, they got somebody that really know their shit. They can show them how they can really dive deep into whatever strategy or whatever they're doing on that court or that field, if that makes sense. So learning the terminology helps you really pinpoint how to like evolve whatever it is you're already doing.
Yeah, I had a go ahead, T.
Well, no, I was just gonna say I'm interested. So somebody that's really into BDSM like that, how soon do you bring up the conversation when you meet somebody new? Because I would imagine that could be a deal breaker for some people.
So to be honest, right, I'm actually moving away from using the acronym BDSM just because of how much I have to fight through to get people to listen and hear it out. Even though I know that I articulate myself well and I may give good examples, some people see that acronym on the title and they go, nah, that ain't for me. You get what I'm saying? Gotcha. So I say all that to say, you don't even need to tell a person, hey, babe, I want to try BDSM or whatever. You could just say, I just want to explore some different things. You could call it whatever you want to call it, as long as you're communicating that. So one thing that I highly suggest that people do during, when trying to explore is just take a kinky quiz with your partner and then compare your results, because you're going to have your results of things you're interested in. They're going to have their results of things that they're interested in, and you compare them. And next thing you know, the conversation is opening up about, different things that you might want to explore. And the reason that I recommend that so much is because sometimes we might not think of a question that's on the quiz that may be asked, or we might be honestly afraid to talk about certain things. But when the quiz brings it up, it's like, hey, I didn't ask to get my ass look. It just basically asked me if I'm into it or not, and I just answered it, bro. You know what I mean? Just answer the question. You know what I mean? So,
it's a good way.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. As long as you're doing it with a woman, man, it's all good.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
there's a lot of shame, when it comes to things guys do in the bedroom. But as long as it's with the woman, they can't question sexuality or whatnot about it.
But hey, you know what? I always thought it was weird because I had dealt with a couple chicks, and this one particular chick, she would come from me like spanking her with a belt. She would bend over and she wanted me to spank her with a belt, and she would come. Another chick wanted me to slap her, like full on slap her while you know what I'm saying, while we into it, and she would come from it. And another one like the choking.
For real? Kind of, I mean, the choking is familiar, but
So like there's real science behind a lot of the shit that you just spoken about. Now get it. Let me be very, very clear. It's fortunate and unfortunate that you brought that up as an example. It's fortunate because you got to experience it. It's unfortunate because it's more of the things that most people be like, that ain't for me. I don't need nobody slapping me. I don't need nobody beating me with a belt. But when you understand the science behind it, it makes a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, the spankings, right? The spankings are sending vibration to her erogenous areas. It's also making that area, wherever you're hitting her, more sensitive because it's creating blood flow to go to that particular area. And when you create that form of blood flow, you're making it more sensitive to other forms of sensations, other forms of pleasure. You know what I mean? Like there's so much into it. When you're choking a person, that lack of air is actually heightening their experience, and it's actually making them feel everything at a higher level. Like there's so much that could be broken down into each and everything.
I didn't even expect all this.
I know.
Interesting.
There's levels to this for real.
Man. I've been to some of these levels,
I'm telling you, bro, all three of y'all are doing shit right now, every day in your regular joint, and you ain't even know what it's called. Not saying that you don't know what it's called, but you didn't understand that there's an actual term for it under the umbrella, if that makes sense.
I got a question. What's it called when you use ice, hot, and cold?
My man, can I answer this one for you? I'm happy you brought. That's a perfect example. That one is called temperature play. So I don't know if you had a chance to dabble in my page, but I do a lot of fire play. I love to put fire on a woman's body, and I use it to massage them. I use a different type of fire than a typical one that we're used to, but temperature play is the art of raising a person's temperature or lowering their temperature. And the point of that is to get increased blood flow to that particular area. If you've ever had a woman like give you head with some ice, then you know how sensitive it could be. Now, let me be clear. Sometimes people like cold, other people like warm. So if you're dealing with somebody that likes warm, maybe they might buy like a soy massage candle and use that warm oil all over that person's body and just give them a hot oil massage. That could be beautiful to somebody. Or like, again, you could mix it up. You could do the hot oil massage and you could do a little bit of, stuff with ice to involve that. But the whole point of that is that wherever you're pouring that warm liquid or that cold sensation, is going to become real hypersensitive in that area. And you're going to heighten their sensations in general, which will, again, keep them present in that moment. So one of the biggest things that we want to do during arousal is keep a person present. And when I say person, let me be real, I'm talking about the woman, because honestly, like a lot of the times we're going to be present in the sense of like, that ass, some titties, whatever, my dick is hard. But women, it takes a little bit more to keep them fully present in that moment because of all the other things that they're thinking about or worried about, rather. So, having extra sensations going on, really brings them to where you want them to be, if that makes sense. So I love temperature play.
That's what's up. It's interesting to hear you breaking it down like this, because I ain't put much research into it, but I did know that from my whole days that there were certain things that would enhance a woman's arousal level. Like one thing, when I was a side dude, just talking about a woman, how inappropriate it is for it. Man, he'd be so mad. Like talking about how mad her man would be at what she's doing arouse a lot of chicks. You know what I'm saying? Like talking to him about being a slut and doing slutty shit. Like that turns on a lot of women, but you just have to reach a level of trust before you can have them conversation.
That right there is called degradation. So many people are turned on by degradation. But like you said the key thing. So you could be the pleasure coach, bro. You said it has to be once you get to that level of trust. Like, because at the end of the day, and this is going to be, this might divide the audience a little bit, but I feel like every single woman wants to be, slutted out by the right person, respectfully.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Like, not like really, like, I don't care about you. I want you out here, like, risking your life type shit. But like, no, I love you. I care about you. I respect you any other time. But right now in this bedroom, in this bedroom, you everything. You everything under the sun except for a child of God. You get what I'm saying? So, that's what we want to do. And I think that level of understanding the science behind degradation is so powerful, because we love things that are taboo. As a human species, we just love the idea of doing things that, we shouldn't be doing, so to speak.
Facts.
Yep. So why is dominance such a big thing when it comes to sexual behavior?
I like that one, because dominance, in my opinion, is the person that's taking that leadership role. The misconception about dominance is that it has to be bossy and aggressive and barking orders. That's not dominance. That's just what they show on television. You could be sensual, you could be kind, you could be a complete gentleman the entire time, and best believe she's gonna be looking at you like the dominant figure, because you have a plan. You like, babe, you hear the memes, you hear all the different podcasts. Don't ask her what you doing, tell her what y'all gonna be doing. You get what I'm saying? Make actual plans. You know what I mean? Have an understanding of what's supposed to be going down, and that leadership will have anybody, man or woman. You know what I'm saying? Like want to follow. And the reason that I use women so much is, one, because I'm heterosexual, so I only deal with women. But don't get it twisted, men need breaks too. Ain't nothing wrong with, a woman hitting you up like, you're free to, Friday, well, I already made us reservations here, or whatever you may like, and she already got it planned out for you. Like, listen, I'm following your lead. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
Gotcha.
But understanding that dominance, again, please, for anybody listening, dominance is not about barking orders. It's not about being aggressive. It's not about bossing somebody around. It's about having a plan and being willing to be the pleaser. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right, so I got a question, man. So now that you're explaining these different things, it's making me think about a whole bunch of stuff that I did that I could never I never really discussed with other guys.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I don't know if there's a term for it, but one thing that I would always do with women, they're usually smaller than me, so I would use my size and my physicality to enhance the sex. And what I mean by is I learned that like when I would be giving a woman head, right, I would position my arms to where their body's like close to my chest, so that I can be like rocking their entire body slightly the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like to create like up and down, back and forth type sensations. And like I would be eating it and squeezing their ass at the same time, doing little stuff
man,
like
listen,
that.
man, you a beast, man. You're a beast, bro. I'm telling you right now, you got it, man. Listen, but this was hypothetically speaking of your whole days, though. Not, you know what I mean? But no, real talk. Everything you're saying is art 101. You know what I'm saying? You're multi-stimulating a person. You know what I mean? You're rocking them. You're getting that blood flow going. You're touching other areas of the body so they're not able to focus on one thing or lose focus, so to speak. You know what I mean? You're also using your body as a form of bondage, believe it or not. So you're holding them tight. There's something that happens to the body both physically and chemically when a person is being physically unable to move. You know what I'm saying? I tell people that all the time. Like, I don't need to tie you up. I could tell you, don't you fucking move until I tell you to. Now, again, I just said you don't got to be bossy, you don't got to be barking orders, but best believe there's a time and place to be able to relay that, if that makes sense. So, you know, by you using your body because you're bigger than that person and you're pinning them down, that shit feels good as fuck. It's like it reminds them how much you might be able to protect them. You get what I'm saying? Like, listen, oh yeah, it reminds them that you're in control at that present moment. You know what I mean? And that can be very, very sexy to a person. Now, I'm gonna joke around and I'm gonna say this, you know, some people ain't gonna be with it, but believe it or not, it can happen on the other side. You know what I mean? She don't gotta be necessarily bigger than you to be able to say like, yo, like being aggressive. You know, one of the things that my woman does, she be grabbing me up on my thigh, sucking my dick. I be like, hold up, you know what I mean? Like scooping me up and shit. You know, but we primal like that. We're super playful. You know what I mean? So I don't take it too serious in the sense of like, you know, are you trying to dominate me? Da da da. I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm gonna even play hard to get, put my hands up, like, what's happening? You know, but it feels good when you show that kind of passion, is what I'm saying.
Now, when you got to the, like, how did you come to perfect it? Was it a trial and error? Or did you see like, okay, there was mistakes you made in the past and then perfected it?
I'm blessed to be able to say it's not much trial and error, and I'm not saying that just to be capping. I'm saying that because I live by a rule which goes, you could never start too slow, but you can always start too fast. So what does that mean? That means that if you start real slow with whatever it is that you're doing and you build up in that intensity, you can always find you're going to be in good hands doing it that way. So when it comes to like stroking, right? And I'm going to just use this for penetrative sex. Start slow and then slowly build up. But if you go right inside of a chick, you should start bang, 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 bang. Like, obviously, you know it ain't it. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to impact play, right? If you start real slow to the point where it's almost kind of corny, you know what I'm saying? And then you slowly build up increments, you're in a good place that way. And it's the same thing with any other thing. Even when it comes to using a vibrator on a woman, you don't start with the highest speed, you start with the lowest speed, and you don't even put it directly on it. You tease around the area. You make her want what you're about to give her. You don't want to give the woman anything until she's begging for you to give her that thing. You get what I'm saying? So like I tell men all the time, you know, before going inside the pussy, just rub it around the pussy, rub your dick around the pussy. You know what I mean? Tease that shit. Make her feel like, yo, hurry up and give me this shit. Like, make them turn into a brat to the point where they almost getting frustrated because you take it so good. Nah, we're gonna do it on my terms. You know what I'm saying? And then when I put it in, I'm not gonna go all the way in. I'm gonna just give you the tip. We're gonna play it in. I'm gonna give you more and more and more, but it's going to happen in increments. I'm gonna make you beg for that shit. So that's what I mean by because you can never start too slow. You can never start too slow. Nobody's gonna be mad at you for taking your time. What's that?
That's considered like a denial play or something like that?
Yes, denial, teasing, denial. Yep, you got it right there.
Okay.
Tease and denial, you know what I'm saying?
Audience gonna learn a lot this episode.
You can do that with everything, bro. There's nothing you can't do that when it comes to engaging with somebody. You could tease and
This
deny
one
it
right
with
here.
everything.
The thumb. Just give it the front of the thumb. Don't give it a whole knuckle. Just give it a
That's,
front of the
that-
thumb.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Right around the rim. You know what I'm saying?
Absolute-
Don't
yo,
put the whole thumb
yo.
in right away.
You are so, listen, man, there's actually a guy that teaches an anal course, and that's exactly how he recommends you start with any form of anal play. You want them to actually want it. If you go right for it, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying you can't put it right in. I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying. But with certain things, you want to just start slow to have them want that thing. So, I used to do that all the time. Just brush against the gas. Oops. Oh shit! Next thing you know, I'm landing it right there. I ain't gonna go in. I'm just parking it right here. You know what I mean? Then slowly but surely they'll start pulling you in. You know what I mean? So you're absolutely right about that.
But this has been a real interesting conversation, man. I didn't expect it to be as informative as it was. Before we get up out of here, man, can you let our audience know how they can find your content, how they can book you, etc.?
Of course. Well, I'm located on Instagram. I have 2 pages, and the reason I do it that way, actually I have more than 2 pages, but I have 2 primary pages. And the reason I do it that way is because due to the nature of what it is that I'm trying to teach people, they tend to delete my pages a lot. So I have one page that's Sir Marvelous Kinks. Kinks is spelled Kinks. And then the second page is just Sir Marvelous. Also, you can find me on OnlyFans at Sir Marvelous. You can find me on Twitter at Sir Marvelous5, because the 5th page I had to create. But yeah, definitely any of those things. And you can just hit me up in my DM and click the links in my bio to look at all the work, the other interviews that I've done, performances that I've done, things of that nature, any upcoming events and things like that.
All right, man, that's what's up. Before we get up out of here, I want to give a shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background audio. I want to remind y'all to continue donating to the podcast through our Cash App and our PayPal. JSD, man, I appreciate y'all linking up with me so we can get this episode knocked out. And Sir Marvelous, man, we definitely enjoyed the conversation. I'm looking forward to the feedback on social.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
Love to have you back in the future, bro.
Definitely appreciate it, man. All
right, y'all. This has been another episode of the Hold the Husband podcast, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
Bye.